Hi, my name is Jose Avila, and we're at Salinas here at Valley Harvest Supply with Kyle and Co. And we're at the store, and they'll be talking about what products they have at the store. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Kyle. I'm just here. We're going to show you guys and talk about some of the things we do here. I mean, as you can see, it's in the middle of winter here, and we're able to have a bountiful crop of peppers here, things like this. You know, it's just some of the things we do here. Like, for example, we could talk about these fabric pots here. These are huge innovation. Compared to a plastic pot, tremendous benefits. One being, these pots do what is called air pruning. So the roots actually grow through the fabric here, and when they hit the oxygen, they die off. But what happens is your plant keeps pushing out feeder roots, whereas in a hard pot, your roots would hit the side and they would go down, hit the bottom, and they would start circling. Well, you don't want that, because circling, you know, root-bound pots or a root-bound plant could lead to, just kind of opens the gate for all kinds of things like diseases and stuff like that. So that's one benefit.
Cool.
Other great benefits, bug issues. Again, because of the way they're fabric and they dry out around the sides, a lot of those bugs really love that warm plastic wall and that, you know, that wet soil crack in between. So with this, they dry out around the ring. There's not really anywhere for them to go. There's other things as well, as like adding mat mix here is a really good product. It's actually made out of recycled glass into, say, like a pumice style material. And what you do, again, because this is fabric and completely covered all the way around, if you top it with this stuff, kind of like so, about a ½ inch all the way around, the bugs can't actually penetrate into your soil. So you basically have an extremely breathable armor around your root system. As if you guys ever dealt with fungus gnats, you know they're a pain. And so, yeah.
Also releases silica.
Silica
The
as well.
nature of the product, so your plant gets a little silica release there too.
So yeah, all very good, very renewable. It's all recycled glass, as well as, you know, these pots. One of the great things about them is, as far as disease goes, you can dump them out, flip them inside out, throw them in your washing machine. Work really well.
Yeah, reusable for years, whereas plastic pots tend to weather and get brittle and will crack and things like that. I've seen a gentleman saying this is his 8th year using these pots, so I mean, they're a great investment. I mean, you're gonna have a happier plant all around.
Cool. Kyle, I have a question for you
Sure.
guys. What size do you sell this product here? It's just this? It comes in
They
this
have
one
the
size?
9-liter bags. I want
Okay.
to say there is a larger. I think there's a 1 cubic foot bag as
Okay,
well.
so it's not just, it doesn't just come in this
Right.
size. It
No.
also
Right.
comes in very
And keep in mind, you're using a ½ inch of this on top, so I can take this bag right here and top about 5 to 6 5-gallon pots with it.
Oh, okay, so this goes a
So
long
yeah,
way.
it goes a long way.
Okay.
You know, occasionally reapplying when you water it will mix in a little bit, but that's actually really good.
Okay. And then if our viewers could go ahead and see this. This is the product they sell. You guys could see. It says 100% recyclable, American made. Okay, that's also nice for us here.
So another cool thing about this company is this is just out of the same recycled glass material. One of their products they make, they also make like a hydroponic medium, it's called grow stone. So it's just a bigger version. So we're using it for this hydroponic. We're using it instead of soil, obviously. And I'll show you here. You know,
Wow.
that's hydroponics there. That's called deep water culture. Where
And viewers could. And how old is this plant here?
this plant here is probably about, I'm guessing about 2 months old.
Yeah, it's about 2 months.
And can you lift that up again?
Yeah.
And our viewers could see this here. Brandon, if you could get a shot right here. Look at the trunk of this thing. Look at the trunk of that. Look how healthy it is. I mean, look at the thickness of that.
Right, they're in there. The cool thing about it is we planted this particular pepper plant about a week or 2 behind these ones that we put in soil, and as you can see, it's grown surpassed these other ones in soil. Bigger, a lot more fruits.
And what sort of system do we have here? I mean, I'm noticing 2 different types of lighting right here, and it's just because these are more mature plants than these ones. Can you explain a little bit of that to us?
Yeah, so what we have here are considered T5 fluorescents, and we've actually alternated between the blue and the reds.
And why is that?
The different colors of spectrum, the blue is more for a vegetative growth stage, Whereas the reds induce more flowering. It's produce better spectrums of color like the red and the oranges that they need.
Okay.
Whereas in veg, they need more blues. So, well, this is the T5, so we kind of alternated that. These are really good for, say, vegging plants up, getting them to a larger size from babies. Whereas we switch over to like a high intensity,
That's all right.
this is a high intensity light discharge. This is HPS, 1000 watt, but we actually have it dimmed down to 400 watts. They're all dimmable ballasts
so
now.
they're dimmable. Okay.
Yeah. So this
And
guy,
why is
the thing that just fell off right here is ducting. This is an air-cooled light. So what this does is it helps control the temperature of your room. Because of how hot these lights get, and especially like right now in the winter, you can use these as heaters by simply taking this exhaust fan. This is an inline exhaust fan. So what it does is when this box right here, which is a thermostat, it senses what temperature it is and whether it needs to turn this bad boy on or not, and it takes all the hot air from your room through this side of the light, cooling the bulb, and then pushing all the hot air out of the room. So this tube goes outside.
Okay. And Cole was mentioning about oxygen. Now I noticed back here you guys have an oxygen cylinder here. How does that come in play with the system here with this one plant?
So that's a CO2 tank.
That's a CO2 tank.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And as you know, that's what plants
CO2,
actually breathe in, right?
Yeah.
They take in CO2 and they give out oxygen. So
Okay.
in a sealed room, plants really benefit from supplemental CO2.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
We could get technical on you. I mean, it's
Right.
CO2 is all around us in the air. So there's usually about an average of 300 to 500 parts per million of CO2 in the air around us. When you're indoors, plants like these can actually, like if we seal this whole tent up, these plants could actually use up all of that CO2 in an hour or so.
Yeah.
And they don't die. What happens is they just stop growing until they get a refresh of CO2 and get above that 300. So when you're really pushing it, say you really want to get a lot of peppers off these guys a lot faster, you can actually pump it up to 1,500 parts per million, much higher than what's outside.
Yes.
And the plants actually, it's like putting them on steroids. They drink water
Grow
faster, they eat faster.
Yes.
You know.
And I noticed you guys are growing different type of flowers here. We have some English primroses here. We have a geranium back here.
Right.
And this one seems to be a daisy of some sort back here.
Right.
So how old approximately are those plants also besides these vegetables here?
Just a few months. We've been taking
Just
them
a few
in,
months?
in and out. You know, we brought them in when it got real cold.
Okay. And,
Yeah, we're saving them from the freeze.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we'll be ahead of the game when spring comes out. We'll put them out.
We've-
We'll already be
We've got
rocking.
some wildflowers and things we've already started as well.
Okay.
Just set them outside when we water.
All right.
Yeah, it's a good way to start early. You know, if you have a little area.
And
get
you
your
guys have all
flowers
the
going.
supplies here at your store level?
Definitely.
Okay, all the
Definitely.
supplies here at your store level. Okay.
And, you know, we have a lot of our premium soils. You know, a lot of people go and they start off with, you know, I hate to say it, like, you know, your base brand soils that are just, I mean, they're cheap.
Yes.
But they're just, there's stuff inside of them, like human waste is one of the big ones they're having issues with. They're
Right.
trying to make into fertilizer.
Yeah. Yes.
And I mean, that's just very unsanitary,
Yeah.
especially when
Yeah.
you're dealing with fruits,
Yes.
like coli and all that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So our soils are very premium. We have like 707, for instance. That's a very, some guanos, pyrrolite, humus, I want to say, redwood
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
And people could come to your store level and ask you advices on what type of soils, what soil mix. You give them suggestions on what,
Very.
50, whatever, perlite, pumice,
Definitely.
vermiculite, whatever you want to call it. Okay.
I think we end up teaching more people than we do selling stuff.
Yeah,
here,
well, you're
so-
teaching me
you know what I
right
mean?
now.
Another big thing is, you know, amending depleted soils. So a lot of people, you know, they come to us and, you know, we've had stuff in our backyard for years. It just doesn't do that great. Well, a lot of times, you know, chances are your soil is kind of depleted, you know, over the years through water runoff and stuff like that. It's going to deplete. So we sell things like compost and worm
I think, can we
castings.
walk over this way?
Yeah,
I
you
noticed
wanna show them the
some-
Burmese, man?